From Earth, the sun is familiar. It marks time. It rises and sets, divides days into mornings and evenings, seasons into cycles we build our lives around. It is the most ordinary, extraordinary object we know. Children draw it as a yellow circle. Weather reports reduce it to an icon. We step into its light without thinking, trusting that it will warm but not harm. Distance makes it kind. At 1 astronomical unit away, the sun is filtered by space, diluted by geometry, moderated by atmosphere. By the time its energy reaches your skin, it feels gentle. Life depends on that gentleness. Plants open toward it. Oceans respond to it. Entire ecosystems rise and fall with its rhythm. It is easy to forget that this softness is an illusion created by separation. The sun itself is not soft. It is a star, an object held together by gravity so immense that it forces matter into a constant act of resistance. At its center, pressure and temperature are so extreme that hydrogen nuclei overcome their natural repulsion and fuse. Mass becomes energy. Energy becomes light. Light becomes the quiet warmth of an afternoon on Earth. This process never pauses. It does not flare up and calm down. It simply continues. If you fell into the sun, you would be moving toward the engine that makes existence possible here. The fall would not feel like falling. In space, gravity does not announce itself with vertigo or wind. There is no reference frame screaming down. You would begin by drifting inward, your velocity increasing smoothly, continuously. Every second, you would be moving faster than the second before. Not because you were pushing, but because the sun was pulling. Gravity does not yank. It accumulates. At first, nothing would seem wrong. Earth would recede behind you. The planets would slide out of view. The sun would grow larger, brighter, but still tolerable to look at from a distance. Your speed would climb into tens, then hundreds of kilometers per second. There would be no sensation of acceleration. In free fall, your body does not feel motion. It feels only forces that differ across it. Those differences come later. As you approach, gravity's unevenness would begin to assert itself. The sun's pull on your feet would be stronger than its pull on your head. This difference is small at large distances, but gravity obeys an inverse square law. Close in, gradients steepen. The force does not merely increase, it sharpens. Your body would begin to stretch, not like tearing, not suddenly, slowly, steadily, as if you were being drawn into a shape gravity prefers. This is tidal force, the same phenomenon that moves Earth's oceans, scaled to something far more personal. Bones, muscles, organs, all held together by electromagnetic forces, would resist at first. Then they would fail. Structure cannot negotiate with differential gravity forever. Long before that, the sun's light would become lethal. Radiation intensity increases rapidly as distance shrinks. The sun emits across the electromagnetic spectrum, and the closer you get, the more the higher energy components dominate. Ultraviolet radiation would destroy cells. X-rays would penetrate deep into tissue. Gamma rays would begin to disrupt nuclei themselves. This is not heat as humans understand it. This is energy delivered too efficiently to feel like pain. Pain requires nerves. Nerves require structure. Structure would not last. Your body would not burn the way wood burns or skin blisters. Burning is chemistry. What happens near the sun is physics. Molecules would dissociate. Atoms would ionize. Electrons would be stripped away, leaving charged remnants swept into electromagnetic chaos. The sun does not char you. It converts you. Closer still, the sun reveals its true nature. The glowing disk you see from Earth resolves into a churning surface of plasma. The photosphere is alive with motion. Hot material rises. Cooler material sinks. Each convective cell is larger than countries, larger than continents. Magnetic fields thread through this plasma, twisting, storing energy, snapping and reconnecting in explosive releases. Solar flares erupt with the energy of millions of hydrogen bombs, and the sun barely notices. There is no surface to land on. Falling into the sun is not like hitting a wall. It is like entering an ocean whose density increases faster than your ability to remain intact. The deeper you go, the more resistance you encounter, not from solidity, but from pressure. Plasma presses back. Gravity presses harder. Temperature climbs into millions of degrees. Matter exists in states unfamiliar to chemistry. By this point, you would no longer be a meaningful description. Whatever remains of your atoms would join the sun's material, moving according to flows set by convection, pressure gradients, and magnetic fields. You would not sink directly to the core. The sun is not empty enough for that. Material circulates slowly. It rises and falls over timescales measured in thousands of years. Motion here is patient. At the core, fusion reigns. Hydrogen nuclei collide so violently that they fuse, forming helium and releasing energy according to Einstein's simplest equation. This energy begins a long, slow journey outward. Photons created in the core do not escape quickly. They scatter endlessly, absorbed and re-emitted, zigzagging through dense plasma. A single photon may take hundreds of thousands or millions of years to reach the surface. If any trace of you contributes energy to this system, it will be delayed, diluted, anonymized. Perhaps, one day, a photon whose energy once passed through your atoms will escape the sun. It will travel at the speed of light. It may cross empty space for millions of years. It may strike dust. It may miss everything, or it may, improbably, touch a distant world and warm something alive. There would be no signature, no record. The sun has done this before. It has absorbed comets, asteroids, and planets. It will do so again. As it exhausts hydrogen in its core, it will change. It will swell, becoming a red giant. Its outer layers will expand outward, possibly engulfing the inner planets. Earth's fate is uncertain in detail, but not in principle. Even worlds are temporary in the presence of stellar evolution. Still, the sun will not be violent in intent. There will be no anger in its expansion, no purpose, just physics unfolding. Gravity, pressure, and nuclear reactions obeying rules that do not bend for sentiment or scale. Falling into the sun is not a tragedy to the universe. It is an accounting adjustment too small to matter. This is what makes the idea unsettling. There is no climax, no final moment where the universe pauses, no acknowledgement that something complex became simple. There is only a continuous transition from structure to plasma, from identity to contribution, from something distinct to something statistical. If you fell into the sun, nothing would change. The sun would shine as it did before. The planets would continue their paths. Time would move forward without hesitation. Your disappearance would not be loud. It would not be marked. It would not even be especially fast by cosmic standards. You would be undone not by malice, but by inevitability. And that is the lesson the sun offers. Not that the universe is dangerous. Not that it is hostile, but that it is vast beyond concern, governed by laws that do not privilege complexity or consciousness. The same star that makes life possible renders individuality irrelevant at close range. You do not fall into the sun to be punished. You do not fall into the sun to be consumed in fire. You fall into the sun to be reduced to physics, to heat, to motion, to light delayed by time. You fall into the sun, and the universe continues exactly as it always has: bright, massive, indifferent, and enduring. And somewhere far away, long after you are no longer a thing that can be named, sunlight still reaches distant worlds, warm and gentle, never hinting at what it truly is when you get too close.